Washington heads to Corvallis into Reser Stadium in probably is it wrong to say? Is it tough to say the last massive game at Reser Stadium for at least like the next couple years? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with that school in Oregon State, but man, I mean, this is about as big as it gets. I'll also add into that, this is Washington's biggest game to date. For a reason that it's now late in the year, a loss in the middle
Biggest
of the year
game or toughest game? I would argue that
I'm
it's
going with
probably
biggest.
I
There
would
was a
argue.
bigger one at the beginning of the year.
Nope, false.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get into that. Because if we're talking about Oregon, I assume is the game we're speaking of.
Yep.
The two are speaking of. Yep. If you lose that Oregon game and you get hot and you start winning the rest of these games, who says they're not looking at Washington like they are Oregon right now, right? If you lose later in the year, it is a lot tougher for that committee to look at a game and just ignore it, right? That's
Agreed.
the issue we always have every year. The later you lose, the harder it happens for you. That's outside the conference title game. We're not talking conference title game. We're talking weeks 10, 11, 12, right? That hangs on with a team a lot longer. Also, with that, if you lose to Oregon and you get to the Pac-12 title, it's still in front of you, right? If you lose to Oregon State right here, you now put yourself in a spot where you have to win the Apple Cup next week, and then you have to win that Pac-12 title to get into the playoff. Theoretically, you could not lose a game in the regular season, go 12-0, lose to Oregon, sit yourself at 12-1, and have a chance at the playoff. Theoretically, not saying that's going to happen, not saying the committee is going to look at it the same way, but it is 100% a fact that this is the biggest game because you can't have one loss going into that Pac-12 title with any thought a loss gets you in. Not that anybody goes into a game thinking like that. That's just where I'm at on the whole thing. Washington only given up 23 points per game, it seems like, but that's just it's a skewed number because you're looking back early in the year where Boise State didn't put up much, Arizona State as well. But Utah, Cal, and Stanford are offenses that have all found success against this team, all offenses that weren't very good for majority of the year. We've seen Cal have explosions. That's been on bad teams, though, right? So I think that's the issue with Washington that everybody's looking at is can you slow down Oregon State's offense, who is a top 25 scoring offense in the country, right? DJU's been good. The rush game's been good. Martinez is fun to watch. He's over 1,000 yards already. How about a guy who doesn't turn the ball over anymore in DJU, right? Like, what does Washington do well? It's better against the run. It's not been great in the air, and DJU has been able to do that without turning it over. Can you make him uncomfortable because you haven't been good at it all year? When you look at the numbers here, I believe that Washington's given up, or Oregon State's given up less than a sack per game, and Washington's ranked outside of the top 110, 115 in sacks on the year. It's been tough for them to get pressure, and if you can't get pressure on them and you can't stop the run, it's going to make it really tough to win because you know it's going to be an electric atmosphere. The line suggests that already. But look, like, what's good about Washington, right? Well, what's good about them is they can score literally on anybody. They didn't have a problem with Oregon's defense. They shouldn't have a problem with Oregon State's defense. Now, Oregon State can get to the quarterback, but who doesn't get sacked? Who doesn't go down and have negative plays? Who doesn't turn the ball over? Michael Penix, probably one of your Heisman frontrunners. He'll be in New York here in a couple of weeks. So they have that going for them. Oregon State's defense only giving up 20.5 per game. Washington putting up 41. Hey, battle's the best right here. I think the best unit on the field is going to be Washington's offense. The second best unit on the field, you could make an argument, is Washington or Oregon State's defense, or between their offense. They're well balanced. I'd go with either one on that. But the worst unit on the field is the defense. So if you're Washington, how do you get yourself to a spot where you can just hang on a little bit, create enough stops, create enough turnovers, create enough opportunities and plus territory where you can take advantage as an offense and really pull away or put yourself in a spot to succeed where you don't have to really go tooth and nail and battle head to head through 100 yards every single time you have the football, or a 75-yard drive isn't the goal every single time. So it's going to be tough, and people see it. Vegas saw it. Bettors have seen it. Everybody's kind of looking at this game like, how does Washington get out of this one now? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, but I'd love to find out, which is why we're going to watch this one Saturday night. I have Washington winning the Pac-12, but I like this Oregon State team early in the year. It is hard for me to pick this one, and I feel like I might be alone here, but just give me Washington. I'm just going to ride the prediction early in the year. Let's just ride with it. I got them to win the Pac-12. That'd be a really good prediction for me to hit on the year. And I don't feel like I'm really swinging that far for the fences if I have Penix on my team. So, Jake, you were pretty pissed off about that one, or a big reaction. I just want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I'd have to wait to see what these guys' thoughts are because I kind of thought I was on my own, but I guess
Okay,
I will take your hand and we'll ride this
Okay.
train together.
Whoa, relax.
You guys thought we were going to be the only ones taking the favored team?
They're not.
They're-
Washington's
they're
not favored.
not
They're
favored.
dogs.
Why-
Pun intended.
why-
They're not
Intended.
favored.
Saw that. Yeah,
Why am I looking at
taking-
what we got on the thing here is
I'm
different than okay.
I'm taking the
No, it says
quarterback.
Oregon State
this spot.
-2.5.
This is a team you could argue that hasn't been playing its best football as of recent, but I mean, they went on the road before that Oregon game. They beat Arizona. At the time, I don't think people were impressed with what Arizona was presenting. They edged one out at Oregon at home. The Arizona State game is an outlier to me. I think Stanford's playing better football right now, so I'm not as concerned about them going on the road and giving up a few points to Stanford. They went out and they can prove they can get into a shootout with USC. And I thought last week, I mean, it's just a tough team in Utah. Like they took care of business at home. I think they're going to get it done again this week. If you're Washington, your priority is to slow down Martinez like you did with Jackson last week at home. And I think you force DJ to beat you, honestly, with his arm. And is he good enough to do it? Probably. But I'm taking the better quarterback in this spot. And I think this team just finds a way to win. And I think they're going to do it again. So give me Washington.
Go ahead there, Parks.
Yeah, what a weird spot for Oregon State. You wonder if it's not, you can't really call it a look over spot because they do have, like we said, the last Civil War coming up here next week, but you have two really, really tough games to end the year, a season that's been great and had its downside like Oregon State always does, where they lose to Arizona in week 10 or week 9 or whatever that was. I don't know if I've seen enough consistency from Oregon State's offense to believe that they can, even against a bad Washington defense, put up enough points to compete with Washington's offense. So give me Michael Penix in his 11th year of college to go in. He doesn't give a shit about Research Stadium. Give me the number 5 dogs to win outright.
Reese, you have to say this.
Screw it. I'll do it. I was going to do it regardless anyway. Give me
Thank
the
God. Okay,
Beavers.
I just need to make sure.
Give me D.
Okay.
I'll take DJU.
I don't know if you sounded too confident there. It sounded like you did that just for us, which is a team guy. That's a team guy move.
Well,
Hey,
when
I'm
I've
pretty sure,
when I've gone against the grain, I've usually been somewhat successful on the board. So hey,
Nice.
it'll be
I'm
all
looking
right.
for somewhat successful.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably worse news that Reese took against us. I mean, that kid's smoking the board.
Yeah, he is. He's red hot. It's bad. There's not many
Yeah.
opportunities to catch him. But
Get it up,
Oregon
baby.
State, you control your own destiny, man. You win this week, you're favored, and at home, and you win next week, Pac-12 title. No, you get a chance at it. You'll get one of these two teams again. It'll be super exciting. And we're not. I just want people to know by picking Washington, we're not downplaying Oregon State because they are a top 25 scoring offense. They are really talented. They are at home in a massive spot. It's just I feel more confident taking a team I have seen, not have that down game they won. Like when they go down and played poorly against an Arizona State or other teams, they end up winning the game. So I'm just going to go with Penix. But that's it for our weekly previews.